from Surah Al-Asr away to talk about that. But I want to take you back a few surahs. Actually, from what we can understand, there's a group of 6 surahs that kind of go together. They're from surah number 99 onwards. Surah Al-Zilzal onwards. إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا, all the way up to وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. This is the 5th of those 6 surahs. Okay, so there's, since we're on the 5th one, I want to kind of take you from some of the main ideas from these 4 and how they lead up to this 5th surah, which is Surah Al-Asr, in this group of surahs. Okay, in the 5th surah, in Surah Al-Zilzal, Allah Azza wa Jal said that whoever does even a speck's worth of deeds is going to see it. وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. So he mentioned that even if you did this much worth of a good deed, you're going to see it. And even if you did this much of a bad deed, the weight of a bad deed, you're going to see it. The emphasis there was on seeing something. When you see something, do you see the outside of it or the inside of it? You see the outside of it. So it's the zahir of our deeds, meaning you prayed, you'll see that you prayed. You spoke to someone kindly, you'll see that you spoke to someone kindly. The outside of those deeds. But Judgment Day is a step further. It's not only the outside of our deeds that are going to be judged. You'll see those deeds. All of them are there. All of them are present. Your prayers, your hajj, your charity, all of them are present and you can see them. وَوَجَدُوا مَا عَمِلُوا حَاضِرًا. But then there's an evaluation of those deeds, because even if all of us are standing in the same row, praying the same prayer, facing the same direction, making ruku' at the same time and sujood at the same time, that does not mean all of our prayers are valued the same way. Somebody's standing in that prayer and they're only there because their mom forced them to and they're 15 years old. And they were forced to come today or something. And they're praying for an entirely different reason because mom will kill me. Somebody else is praying and they're focused entirely on Allah. Somebody else is praying and their mind is somewhere else. We're not all praying with the same quality. That's not happening, even though we're praying at the same time. So what happens is not only the outside of a deed is judged, but in fact what's going on inside of our hearts is also judged. And that's what Allah says in the next surah, وَحُصِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. Whatever's in the hearts is going to be retrieved. You know, أَفَلَا يَعْلَمُ إِذَا بُعْثِرَ مَا فِي الْقُبُورِ وَحُصِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. This is in Surah Al-Adiyat. And so now we've got both sides. The outside of the deed, yarahu. The inside of the deed, what was inside of our hearts. Now that both the outward and the inward have been evaluated, now these deeds are ready to be weighed. So what you find in the next surah is فَأَمَّا مَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُهُ. Whoever's scales became heavy and whoever's scales became light. That is the next discussion, and that's what you find in Surah Al-Qari'ah. That now these deeds are going to be weighed because both the inner and the outer dimension of them have been elaborated. So it's a logical progression. Okay. Now, finally, Allah actually mentions after all of this, He climaxes all of this with Surah Al-Takathur, the 4th of these surahs. And I want to explain to you what happens in Surah Al-Takathur in relation. I've explained the surah before, but in relation to the 3 surahs that are coming before it. What's basically happening is 2 subjects are going side by side. One subject is human beings are greedy. They're crazy about getting more and more and making their life better and better in this world. All they can see, beings are greedy. They're crazy about getting more and more and making their life better and better in this world. All they can focus on is what they can see with their eyes, what they can taste and feel, and they just want to go after it and get it by any means necessary. Sometimes they're even willing to risk their life to do it, like in وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبْحًا. They're even willing to risk their life to get whatever they want or whatever their desire, compels them to get. On the other hand, Allah is saying, while you're distracted by this and you're in so much urgency to get all this stuff, you're distracting yourself from other things that are far more important. And those things are the ones that actually have weight. You're running after things that don't have weight, and you're ignoring things that do have weight. This is why the idea of our greed is then balanced with the scales. You're running after things that are not truly of value. Right? That contrast is presented. And so Allah by Surah Al-Zilzal essentially says, if that's the way you're going to continue to be, then you're going to end up looking at hell, not just your deeds. So the first of them was, yarahu, meaning his deeds he's going to see. By the end of it, لَتَرَوُنَّ الْجَحِيمِ. You're going to be looking at hell itself staring back at you. And that's because you've been distracted all this time. This discussion then leads us all the way to Surah Al-Asr. And that's what the connection that I want to share with you before going any further. 2 things though. The 2 surahs about greed so far, and there's going to be a third one, وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. That's the third one. But these 2 surahs about greed, On the one hand, al-adiyat, and on the other hand, at-takathur. They have some interesting dimensions of greed. In al-adiyat, Allah draws our attention to the fact that we want things to be better and better, and we feel like we have no time, we have to get it right now, and sometimes we even put ourselves in danger to get it. Like the bandits that are robbing a village and are descending with their horses, they might die. But their hubbul khayr is shadid. Innahu li hubbil khayri la shadid. His love of acquiring this money and this wealth is so intense that he's even willing to risk his life. And they're running so fast, it describes that your greed makes you rush into things. It makes you have a sense of urgency towards this stuff. Like it's top priority, it can't wait. Like the raiders, they can't wait till later in the afternoon. They have to do this early in the morning. فَالْمُغِيرَاتِ صُبْحًا. It's a sense of urgency. When people get up early in the morning and get themselves ahead of traffic, there's a sense of urgency to earn and to acquire. On the other hand, is a sense of relaxation. I got all the time, I could put some other things aside. Alhaakum at-takathur. This is urgent, everything else became secondary. You got too much time. It can wait. You're distracted, meaning this other stuff that's actually important doesn't take any time in your life. Just to put this in practical terms, you're working, you're working on a project or whatever, and your mother says, hey, it's Asr time or it's Maghrib time. Mom, okay, not right now, okay, just let me finish this. And the Salat time goes. And you don't want to take attention away from the code you're writing or the project you're working on, because if you pray, it's going to break your flow and all of that. It can wait, Mom. It can just wait. So the prayer was a distraction from your work. But the Quran is actually saying, everything else is a distraction. This is the thing that needed attention. This was the priority. Alhaakum at-takathur. Now Allah essentially in this surah, after talking about how some things you take very seriously and you can't wait, you just want to get them right away. And some things you're distracted and you put aside. Allah says you can't just keep going this way because your time is running out. Wal asr. Wal asr. And then He makes a further argument. There's two things we want. We want better and we want more. The argument for better is in Surah Al-Adiyat. The argument for more is in Surah Al-Takathur, from Kathra. Those are the two things that drive humanity. We want better. You want a better life. You want a better house. You want a better car. You want better clothes. You want a better phone. You want a better. Everything has to be better. And even if you have it, you want something more. So it's quality and what? Quantity. Those two things are constantly obsessing. If you have everything, you want more money now. Because I might want something better later. Right? So, and if I want something better, I need more money. So it's either quantity or quality, or quantity or quality. If I had more money, I'd have a better quality car, a better quality house, better quality clothes, better quality travel, better quality vacation. That's what these two things are. They bounce off of each other. Now, those two things, we feel, if we had those two things, we'd be successful. We'd actually be successful. And the more we're getting, the more successful we are. Someone who has a higher salary is considered more successful than someone who has a lesser salary. The one who has a higher education and more degrees is more successful than someone who has less degrees. The someone who has a better quality life, better quality materials around them, better quality of social circle, is considered more successful than the one who doesn't. And Surah Al-Asr comes along and reverse engineers all of it and says, actually, all of this is just loss. All of this, your time's running out and you're running after things that are nothing but loss. إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. It just, first Allah commented on how obsessed you are with more and better. And then He basically said, and more and better, the way you think of them, is nothing but failure. It has nothing to do with success. This surah redefines success and failure. And this is actually why this is the Qur'an's worldview encapsulated. Look, everybody sees the sun, everybody sees the moon, everybody sees the stars, everybody sees the sky. Human beings, whether they believe or not, see the same sky. We breathe the same air. We look at the same ocean. Our views are the same. It's not like the kafir sees a different sun. They see the same sun. Similarly, we define things in the same way in the world. The team that won the championship is a winner. The team that lost the championship is a loser. So we define success and failure the same way. The one who won the election is a success. The one who lost the election is a failure. The one who graduated is a success. The one who got kicked out of school is a failure. It doesn't matter if you're Muslim or not. You're going to think of success and failure in the same way. What does this surah do? It takes something so basic, like the definition of success and failure, and it puts a new Quran lens on it. And after you put this lens on, and I put this lens on, my definition of success and failure fundamentally differs from every other human being. It doesn't matter what religion they are, and what lifestyle they have, and whether they're even from my same family. They could even be a fellow Muslim. The fellow Muslim who sees the world through Surah Al-Asr, and the fellow Muslim who doesn't see the world through Surah Al-Asr see two different things. They see two very different things. I would like here, just at this point, to give you an example of that before we go any further. And we're still